All right. Welcome to the
Number
fifth,
six. I think it is, six.
the sixth installment of the Do You Dan podcast. My name is Javaska, and I produce the show. And next to me is the one, the only. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for
Give it
Dan
up.
Goldberg.
Give it up. Come on. I can use it. I can use some up. It's a joyful day today. We have a joy in the audience. We have studio audience today.
Exactly. How's it been? How's it been?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Well, I've been caught up in academia, to tell you the truth, and a few other things. And I'm a professor, and I'm at Penn State, and I'm going to Temple.
Things pile up.
Yeah, things pile up. I'm writing dissertation. I'm doing some other stuff. So it got a little crazy. So therefore, we had to take some time off. But we're back to tell you that we can really shake them down. Okay? Do you love me? Do you love me?
Oh.
Now that I can dance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, Johnny, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I haven't been feeling very, confident in myself. I've been, lacking the self-esteem, and my motivation is a little bit low, this time of the year. So what do you think I should do? Like,
Well,
how should I build
Self-confidence?
self-confidence?
Self-confidence, self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Just stand near a heater, you get steamy, and you be self-esteemed.
Oh,
That's
simple?
Simple thing. It's simple.
all right.
But podcast over. No. I'll tell you what we're going to talk about in all seriousness. We're going to talk about building self-confidence and increasing your self-esteem. Americans basically as a, and I think we've touched on this before, as a society have low self-esteem because they're always measured to the types of people who are on marketing campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to look a certain way, you got to act a certain way, you got to have a certain kind of body, you got to drive a certain kind of car. You
Like
gotta
society is sort of,
constructs it. So society constructs self-confidence, and society constructs basically self-esteem. But in reality, because they do that, they destruct it. And so it's destructive self-esteem, and that's why it's low. It tends to be destructive self-confidence. That's why it's low. And there are certain things that I find that you can do to make yourself be more confident and have higher self-esteem. And one of those things, and I know this sounds very simple, is to just ignore a lot of the stuff.
right.
It's just ignore it. I mean, it's a simple concept, but people have a hard time doing it.
Yeah.
They look at it and they go, oh, I should be like her, or I should be like him, and he has everything, and look how great he looks, and his hair is just right.
Always looking to someone else.
Yeah, always looking to someone else. When in fact, and I've said this before, you're already perfect. That's impossible, not to be perfect. You're the perfect you. There's only one you. You're constructed in the perfect manner, so you're already perfect. So if you take that to heart, and I really sincerely mean this, you'll have more confidence in yourself. If you stop measuring yourself to what society deems as perfection, which is basically a load of crap, okay, then you'll say, hey, this is the way I am, and that's great, okay? That doesn't mean you can't improve. That doesn't mean you shouldn't eat better. That doesn't mean you shouldn't exercise, all that other stuff. I'm not talking about complacency.
Right.
I'm talking about self-confidence. And self-confidence is something that it's totally, and this is obvious, in your head. So if it's completely in your head, you can get the stuff that's destructive out of your head. But the first thing you have to do is look at it and say, you know what? This is a load of garbage. I'd use another word, but it's a constructed, destructive image that I can't relate to, nor do I want to relate to.
Exactly.
But people get caught in it. So one of the mantras you have to say to yourself is, I'm good. It's simple as that. I'm okay. It's not that, oh, I got to look like this guy or girl or whatever. It's having that relationship with yourself that you can say, not only am I good, I can get these things done. I can prioritize things. I can build on things. Here's another thing that people do that destroys their self-confidence. They think that because they're ignorant in some areas that they're stupid or dumb. And I've had people say that to me. I've had students say, I'm really stupid.
That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense. But what happens is they don't realize they just don't understand that particular topic.
Yeah. You ever heard the saying that was like, if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, that fish would think it's stupid. It's like an Albert Einstein.
It's an Albert Einstein thing. And well, here's the other thing. If you judge yourself by Albert Einstein, you're going to have a hard time, right? Because everybody's not Albert Einstein.
Exactly.
But the beauty of Albert Einstein is he realized his shortcomings. He realized that he just was good at this thing, but wasn't great at that thing. And that quote is emblematic of his reality, that you can't judge a book out by its cover. You can't have judge a fish because it can't climb a tree. I mean, I'm not a professional baseball player. I can't put on a Phillies uniform and hit a 95-mile curveball. Does that make me bad? Do I have less self-confidence? Well, no, because I know my limitations.
Exactly.
You look at your strengths, you do a SWOT analysis, your strengths and your weaknesses and your opportunities and your threats and all this other things, and you deal with them and you put strategies together and you say, you know what? I'm not good at that, nor do I care to be good at that.
Yeah, and what it sounds like to me, like what I believe is like the first point where you start is your self-awareness. Like you seem like you're very sure of what you're good at and what you're not good at. And when you double down on those strengths, I think that's where you can build that sort of confidence, because you know who you are versus what you're not the best at.
Right. The first thing you got to do is understand yourself before you try to understand others. And if you can really understand yourself, you take the time for self-reflection, you'll just say, what am I worrying about this stuff for? I mean, we talk about that a lot. It's, it's one of those things that, why are you worrying about ridiculous stuff? Especially, and I know I've said this before, why are you jealous? That knocks down on your self-confidence. Why do you worry? Why do you regret? All these negative things that you can't change anyone or anything about it. I mean, it's in the past, or it could be in the present, but you look at it and you go, that person's controlling me because I'm jealous of them, and they don't even know it. So they're controlling me, and they don't even know that they're controlling me, and they don't even care to control me, but I'm being controlled by that. And a lot of people have that problem. It may be a deep jealousy, or maybe just a surface jealousy. I don't have that kind of car. I want that car. I want a big car. I want to have this. I want to have that. And it's like, you know what? Come on, man. Who cares? I mean, you know what I drive. I drive a little Hyundai Elantra, and I've had every kind of car. I've had BMWs, I've had Saab Touareg, I've had them all. And my little car gets me to the same place that my big car got me to at the same time.
Right, exactly.
So it's like an amazing thing, isn't it? That doesn't mean that I'll always have that car, but it's good. I like it. So it's looking at things in perspective. That's basically what it is. We have one life, one. I get if you're into reincarnation, I get that, okay? But in this form, we have one life. And to screw that life up by saying I'm not good enough, I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not worthy enough, is demeaning this beautiful thing that you have called life. So you have to look at that perspective. I'm here now. I'm not going to mess up this opportunity of being in the now and letting other people influence the way that I deem myself as competent and confident. So therefore, when you think about it, that doesn't mean that you are a person who doesn't care about people, doesn't love people, doesn't feel compassion for people or empathy. No, you do just the opposite. Okay? You are empathetic, you are compassionate, you are loving and all those things and care about people because it's the right thing to do. It's not that you're going to like get a reward later, because that doing something for a reward later is like selfish.
Exactly.
It's selfishness. So it's not, you're not doing something out of selflessness. You're doing out of selfishness. Oh, if I score these points, if I get enough points, I'll go to heaven. Right? I mean, that's really it. Let's be honest. If I score enough points, I'll go to heaven. Well, don't worry about the points. Don't. That's selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it for the sake of doing it. Be kind for the sake of kindness. And when you do that, people tend to be, there's always an idiot out there. Okay. And I use that term idiot with parentheses. There's always someone who's the jerk, but normally speaking, people are nice.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're nice to them, they'll be nice to you, and they will build up your self-confidence. You just got to get rid of all that negative crap. Once that's gone, you're free to go.
Well, to piggyback off of that, all right, to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Let's say you are self-confident, but how do you deal with things that bring that naturally bring that down, like rejection or maybe like abandonment or just things
one of those
not
life
necessarily
traps, as we call them, life traps. I teach about that.
Things that hit your self-confidence. How do you sort of bounce back?
Well, it's self-reflection. That's really what it is. It's self-reflection. It's like, look, I've been through a lot of heavy-duty stuff in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we were just talking about this. One of my friends said, "How do you do it?" I said, "What do you mean, Bob? How do I do what? How do you bounce back from all the stuff that's happened to you?" And I said, "Well, this is my view of life. Life is like a meadow that you walk across, and all of a sudden, in your journey, there's a big mountain, right? So that's a bummer. Oh man,
that's
I have
weird.
to climb this mountain. I have to climb this mountain. It's so hard, so stinking hard. You know, it's the crap that comes in your way, blocks you from walking along that meadow forever. And then you get to the top of the mountain, and you come down. There's another beautiful meadow, and you're walking along that meadow, and sure as heck, okay, there's another mountain. So you just have to realize that these things are part of life. And if you take them to the point where they knock you down, it's harder to get up. It's just harder to get up. And what you do is you look at it and you go, this is a bummer. I'm going to have to deal with it. But this too shall pass, as everything does in life. Okay? So, but let me keep my confidence, because if I lack my confidence, then it'll be that much harder for me to get through that. And there are people that love you and will help you and you can lean on. There's always those people. And a lot of times we forget about those people. So for me, it's important. You know,
Exactly.
I love people, and they're my friends, and I want them to know that I'm there for them if they need it. And consequently, you know, you get that in return. Not that you should do anything to get anything in return. It just happens.
So, like, something that I'm hearing is you sort of have a bit of optimism when you're going into those situations. Like when I was listening to your metaphor, it's sort of like you have a meadow and then you have a mountain, but at the end of the mountain, there's another meadow at the end. And I believe that requires a bit of optimism. Whereas I know a lot of people who they see that mountain and they can't necessarily see the meadow on the other side. They sort of think that this mountain can go up to eternity, to the heavens,
and then continue for eternity,
and continue. There's no sort of meadow at the end. Like how do you know that there's a meadow? How do you get that mindset together?
There's always a meadow, okay? Unless, of course, and I'm a realist, unless, of course, you're caught in something like a war that's going on in Syria now, or a Holocaust, or a genocide of another type. You know, sometimes there's just bad people that kill people. You know, we have it every week. Something happens in the United States, innocent people. But because people will say, well, that's very idealistic, Dan. You know, there are things that you can't get over and people get killed and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, generally speaking, there's always a meadow. There just is. And no matter how tall that mountain is, and it's tough to climb. I mean, there are times when I was like, what?
Mhm.
What? Let me just keep going. I'll figure this one out.
And so
I'll
some
figure
people
it.
have better gear than others.
Yeah.
Some people have, the protein bars and the ice picks, and others have bare hands, but
They get there.
everyone has to climb.
And what you should do and be aware of is ask people for assistance and advice and help. If it gets to that point, you say, I need your help. And you go, all right, what do you need? People, I don't have to tell you, people call me for help all the time, right? In different forms.
Exactly.
Students, they message me, or people call me, blah, 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 blah. And I say, all right, how can you want to meet, or you want to talk on the phone, or whatever. It's a simple thing. And we complicate our lives to the point where we lower our self-esteem and we lower our demeanor. It's needless. And we measure ourselves against, and believe me, every model that you see that people want to be like, they got their own problems. Okay?
Mhm.
They probably feel that they wish they were like this other person.
Yeah, they don't have their humanity. Like, they walk outside and people look at them like an object, or they can't go to the store and buy some bread.
They can't be out in public.
Yeah, the grass is always greener.
Always greener. And they probably figure, what did I do? I got in this. Now I'm the supermodel. Everybody knows me. I can't even walk outside. Okay? So, or they may have low self-esteem. You never know.
Exactly.
They're measuring themselves against something else. Or they look at somebody and say, she has a normal life. I wish I was her.
And then that girl is looking back
And saying, boy, look at her. She's so beautiful. I wish I was like her. I mean, it's a never-ending thing.
Mhm.
So you just have to
Bring
know
it
yourself.
back.
Bring it back to yourself. Bring it back and understand that your self-confidence is actually up to you. Your self-esteem is up to you, really. And
Makes sense.
don't let other people influence it negatively, period. That's it. You're perfect, just the way you are.
All
It's a
right.
good song.
Well,
I hope I answered that.
I think we covered that. So
Okay.
it's time for our next segment.
Next segment. Ba-da-da-da-da-dum.
Drum roll, please.
Yep.
This is Ask Dan. So
It's me.
if the title didn't explain it enough, it's where we ask Dan questions and he gives
Answers.
answers. There you
Answers.
go. We're good job.
Answers. You know her? Ann?
I have my fancy paper in front of me.
Okay.
The first question is from Tay Marvin, and it says, what new belief, behavior, or habits adopted within the last 5 years have most positively impacted your life?
Well, that's interesting.
Thanks, Tay.
Yeah. In the last 5 years, I would say belief. I'll tell you, impacted my life. I have that crazy workout routine.
Yes.
I've always worked out, and so always. But I would say in the last 5 years, probably in the last couple of years, it's reached a whole other level, and that's why it was never. You used to be a half an hour, 40 minutes. Now it's an hour and a half, but it really has impacted my life. I really think that I enjoy it. It's made me more nimble and more supple, maybe I think the term is. I can move better. I feel, it motivates me. Sometimes I'll wake up and go, oh, man, I don't feel like working out. Yeah, Dan, better work out.
Got to do it.
I got to do it. Even if you don't want to do it, got to do it. And that's a thing that's, I think in the last 5 years, it's gone to this whole other level. Part of it is because of, I don't want to give them a plug, but my Fitbit that my son and daughter-in-law gave me for Father's Day a year and a half ago or a year ago, whatever it was. But I'll tell you what started it. I was watching, I forget who it was. Maybe it was a Stephen Colbert show or something. And there was a fellow on there from, I forget, maybe he was a guy who was head of GM or something. And he was 80 years old and he was doing 40 push-ups.
Oh, wow. I think you told me about
I told that story, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, he's doing 40 and he's 80. And I'm
Look at me. Yeah.
So I up it now and I do, I don't want to tell you, but I do a lot of push-ups. It's way beyond 40 push-ups. Believe me, it's way beyond that. And that's just part of my workout. But that has had a positive effect on me.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Stay active.
Stay active, always. And watch what you eat. I do that anyway, but
Exactly.
don't eat crap, okay? Eat good stuff. And this is my own belief. You can want to go to McDonald's, but it's not me. Non-GMO, organic, everything.
All right.
Okay.
So, lightning round. We're going to go through these questions a little bit quicker.
Okay.
Next question.
Yeah.
What is your favorite failure and why? Go.
My favorite failure. What's my favorite failure? I guess my favorite failure is losing 7 figures monetarily and saying, okay, I did that. There's nothing else I can do about it. It was out of my control because there was a governmental thing, and I had an oil and gas company in another country. It was in Russia. So, and I just lost 7 figers, but an opportunity,
happens.
money, and everything. It happens. So can I say that's my favorite? Yeah, I guess so, because when I teach students, they want to know about your success, but they want to know about your failures and how you recovered from those failures. And I went, okay, I took a chance. I lost. Okay, next.
All right. Next question.
Yeah, lightning round.
What have you become better at saying no to, and what approaches have worked best for you?
Okay, saying no. That's a very special thing. Okay, you got to learn how to say no. I think it's like when people go over the top asking me for stuff that they're like beginning to take advantage of me. Like, when someone needs help, right? But then when they become like overly crazy about it and they're always asking, you have to say, hey man, I got a life. Okay? And it's like every student knows how to get in touch with me. They have my cell. They have everything. I always tell them, here's the deal. Don't call me at night. Don't call me. You can text me. I'll be late for class and everything. But no, I won't answer your call because I have a life.
Exactly.
Okay? So there's a couple.
And that's understandable.
Yep.
All right. Next question. What are some unusual habits you have?
Unusual habits I have.
This person's getting deep.
Real deep.
Speed dating.
Okay, man. Unusual habit I have, besides my crazy workout, I'm just sort of a baseball crazy guy. So
this opening day was like...
Yeah, it was like a big deal to me, okay? Yesterday, I'm checking the scores. The Phillies scored 20 runs. I'm a Phillies fanatic, okay? So that's... I don't know if it's unusual, but I think it's kind of a habit I have. I got to watch. I got to check up. I got to know about it.
Yeah.
Okay? So...
It depends. The perspective of unusual, it depends on who you ask. But
I got a friend who's not into sports at all, and it's like he's free with it. It's like I don't have to check.
I didn't watch the Phillies game, so
no, I get it. Okay, so I'm unusual. I'm unusual to you,
I guess.
Right.
All right. Anyway, next question. What books have you gifted the most? That's interesting.
Oh,
Gifted.
my books.
Oh.
My books. I'm serious.
Which you can get in the description below. We'll have links to all of his books down there just in case. But anyway.
Yeah, my books. Soaring to Enlightenment.
What was the other one called?
Soaring to Enlightenment.
Yeah, and then you have 2 more, right?
I do. I have The Entrepreneur's Guide to Successful Leadership.
Okay.
Okay, and I have Lighten Up and Lead.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Those
and
sound pretty
honestly,
good.
if they are the 3 books I gift the most, why wouldn't I?
Why wouldn't he? All right.
That's a lightning round. Okay. Okay. What's
Last
the next
question.
one? Last question
from Chris Douglas. Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
It says, excellent episode. Thank you.
That was episode 4 or 5 or whatever. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about including show notes with the podcast? I would be interested in reading up further on some of the things you reference in the show. Ooh. Well, Chris, I will make sure I put show notes in this episode just for you.
Hey, that's great. I didn't have to answer that one because you did it. Perfect. Okay.
Perfect.
So it's like, yes.
Yes.
We haven't considered it, but it's done.
Done.
How about that? So there's lightning round.
Perfect. So what did we talk? We talked about self-confidence, building self-confidence. What do you do to overcome shortcomings, becoming self-aware, self-reflecting? So many gems in today's episode. And yeah, anything you want to add?
No, just have fun.
Have fun.
Be kind. do no harm,
Mm-hmm.
be loving, be compassionate, and empathetic. And we're good.
Yeah, we're gonna create like do you Dan commandment.
The Do You Dan commandments. The what? Let's call it the 10 commandments. I'll write them in stone.
Oh dear.
How's that? Anybody ever do that before?
I don't think so.
Ah, that's a new thing.
We've got to work on that.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Oh man, yeah. I gotta find a chisel. Okay.
Where do you get a chisel?
From
Do they sell those at Home Depot?
Chisels R Us?
Not to be confused with Toys R Us. They're not doing too well.
No, they're out of business.
All right. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Listen, it's been great.
Yes.
Okay. And we'll see you soon.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.